Good morning. Good morning, Kaleidoscope. Good morning, one person watching, one thumbs up. Today we're talking about an account that has changed their name at least a couple times in the last day or two. Um, they had been going by Bonnie the Bully. I'm not sure if they still are. They were Bonnie Unhinged, then they were Bully Busters or Us, and now they're just Beware Bonnie Dwyer. So I spoke with the person who claims to be behind that account. Um, She told me her name was Bridget, not once but twice. I'm assuming that's a fake name, because she could have told me her name was just, Bonnie Unhinged or whatever, but she chose the name Bridget, so I'm just going to call her Bridget. Um, Bridget, if you're watching, you're not blocked or anything like that. I thought our conversation went okay. My impression of Bridget is that if I just take everything that she said at face value, she was, hey, did I already say hi, Anna Clown? I'm not sure. Anyway, um, Bridget. Oh, I saw your video about Markleta's house being sold. 24 million, huh? That's wild. Um, so Bridget claims to have been a BJ supporter and claims to have seen things coming across her Instagram feed that were that made her want to reach out to Bryn. She said in December, and she said that she's been, friendly with Bryn since December. They've never met in real life, but she says they FaceTime all the time. Um, and she sounded like she really wanted to kind of get past this Bonnie versus Bryn versus Bonnie narrative. And I sincerely would love to get past it. Um, so she told me some really good things about Bryn. Like she said that she's, that her children adore her and that she's always FaceTiming her with the kids and that she's always making them breakfast in the morning and she's always, taking them to their gymnastic classes and that they do see their fathers and everything like that. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a heck of a lot better than the last time I was interacting with her back in, October. I said, so that's good. That's good news for her. Take the win, Bryn. Like, just take the win. Like, you got your kids and you got your life and it's all good. Like, be a mom. Just forget about all this other stuff. Because I can tell you that if my kids were young and still at home with me, I wouldn't have time for any of this. Um, and so, yeah, and Bridget had said that she had said to Bryn, like that. Why doesn't she just talk to Bonnie? And Bryn's response was, "Well, I can't. I can't risk losing my girls." And I was like, "Well, what about talking to me and gonna risk her losing her kids?" Like that didn't make any sense to me. But I was like, well, I mean, her ex-husbands have both reached out to me. I'm like, I'll talk to the three of them. I'll talk to her and the baby daddies and just be like, look, if Brennan's being the mom that people are saying she is, then back off of her, leave her alone. Like, how's she gonna lose her kids because of talking to me? Like, that just didn't make any sense to me. So, you know, but hey, Jamie, um, this person, this sorry, Jamie, I don't know where your wrench went. I think I might have given a different one of your accounts a wrench yesterday. Let me see. All right. Um. Okay. Excuse me. Uh. So yeah. So Bridget said that was even ludicrous to suggest that I would talk with the three of them. She's like, every communication with them has to go through the court. I'm like, so they don't see their kids? And she's like, oh yeah, they see the kids all the time. It's like they've shared custody. And then she's like, well, one of them, has a big build, and he's part Hispanic, and he's very high up in the gangs and the criminal gangs or something. I don't know something. She didn't say gang. She said organized criminal organization. She said, okay, and he just treated her amazing. And then the other one is blonde, and that's Johnny, and he's the genius, and he's a professional, and he bit Bryn's neck. I'm like, okay, have you seen any proof of this? She's like, yeah, she showed me a picture. I'm like, well, I mean, we know like Amber Heard can, make pictures, and we know Brennan, loves to make fun of Amber Heard. Even on Jamie's videos, Brennan was making fun of Amber Heard. Remember that, Jamie? And so I was like, yeah, I said, no police report, it didn't happen. Like, in my opinion, like, it's just like each and every time a man, I mean, aside from when I was a child and, I couldn't, nobody called the police when my dad hit me or whatever. But like each and every time a man has hit me as an adult, um, I have certainly documented that with law enforcement. So if that makes me a snitch, Brennan, I guess that makes me a snitch. But I'm not going to believe anything about these men who have been perfect gentlemen when they've reached out to me. I'm not going to believe that they were violent with you if you didn't bother to report it to anybody other than your Discord group. Okay. So Bridget, that goes for you too. Like, you want to believe Brennan, fine. That's cool. But nah. I mean, I took her word for it, and then I saw how her behavior was around all of that, and how she was just seeking so much attention and sympathy because of it. And I suspected it wasn't really fully accurate. And then, I had phone and email communication with her most recent ex-husband, who I believe she was still technically married to up until February. And then more recently than that, her first ex-husband, or someone who claims to be her first ex-husband, started posting on my video, where Ms. Chronic Chronicles was interviewing Brennan, and I did a reaction to that video, and Thomas Braden Bell started commenting on it. And he was respectful. Like, I never spoke to him, but I mean, he seemed respectful. But Bridget kept claiming that both of these men are still like madly in love with Bryn, and like they'll do anything she says and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, well, if they're madly in love with her and they'll do anything that she said, I said, if the bite on the neck was real, could it have been consensual? I said, because it looks like she's into this BDSM stuff. She goes, wasn't that just one picture? And I said, well, there were other ones that I didn't even bother to click through on. She goes, oh, that was all doctored. That was all made up. I'm like, you've only known this girl since December, and anything I come up with, you've got this like immediate knee-jerk reaction to why it's fake. And it's like, I'm like, have you ever talked? Because tomorrow we're going to be doing Miss Chronicles, me, myself, and Miss Chronic Chronicles. And then Friday we're going to be doing me, myself, and Progressive Patriot. So like I said to Bridget, I said, have you ever talked to Miss Chronic Chronicles? She goes, well, no, I've heard horrible things about her. I'm like, what have you heard about her? She's like, just terrible things. And I'm like, well, have you watched any of her videos? She's like, yeah, I watched the one with Bryn. And I'm like, okay, well, did it seem like they had a terrible relationship at that time? Obviously something changed, and it seems like from what I've heard and what I've observed, the same things changed between Brennan and Miss Chronic Chronicles as ended up changing between Brennan and Steph. Like, there's a pattern there. And Bridget didn't want to hear any of it. Like, she just wanted to be, and I just want to assure everyone, especially Bridget, that I did not record that call. I said it several times at the very beginning. I'm not even asking for your consent to record because I'm not recording. I'm not intending to record. And then she starts posting all this stuff from some law firm about which states you need two-party consent in, which states you need all-party consent in, blah, 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 blah. Oh, wait. Okay. So that's all I have about Bonnie the bully, or whatever they go by. So Bridget, Bonnie the bully, whatever you want to call yourself, you're still welcome on my channel, but please, if Bryn wants to defend herself, let Bryn show her own damn self up here on my channel or on my phone calls. Okay. Bryn knows my number. Bryn knows my freaking address because she's sent mail here before. Bryn knows my email addresses because she sent me like hundreds of cease and desist letters that were, you know, essentially completely invalid because they just didn't make any sense. um, so Bryn knows how to reach out when she wants to, make an appearance, but she chooses to stay in the shadows and she's blaming it on her kids. All right, cool. Moving on. So what do we have here? Hi, Anonicon. Hi, Kaleidoscope. Jamie says she forgot about what is on that call with Dahlia. Could you elaborate on that, Jamie, please? Let's see. Always a good thing to document when you see something because nobody else seems to. Very good point, Jamie. Was that a threat saying he's a gangster? I didn't get that it was a threat from Bridget. But I do know that it was something that Brennan kept claiming about this guy, one of her husbands. She kept saying that he had done like serious criminal time. And I don't care. Like that doesn't um I mean, if you choose to be with somebody that you know to be doing illegal things and you're a grown adult and all that, like that's fine. I mean, I've made those kind of poor judgment calls before, whatever. So I didn't think it was like a threat because he's so high up in this criminal organization or whatever. I thought it was just more drama, to be honest. In fact, I said to Bridget, I said, God, I said, it sounds like a soap opera. It sounds like one of my mother's soap operas. I said, and I just don't do soap operas, Bridget. It's just, oh, come on. She's like, you see, you're just getting like, I'm like, no, I said, this just seems like a bunch of characters in a freaking daytime drama. I said, I'm not here for that. I mean, I'm here because, and she's claiming that we didn't talk about Dahlia. I mean, she was so focused on trying to clear Bryn's name with me that no, I didn't get a chance to ask her about that phone call with Dahlia, to be honest. Because to my knowledge, Bridget wasn't on that phone call. I believe that that's something between Lima, Jamie, Brennan, and Dahlia as far as the recording the phone calls. But yeah, like I just said, I'm still in this because the issues that brought me to it are still happening. They're still happening to Brittany, even though Brittany's technically free. Now that Bam's married, that's a whole other, set of complications his situation may or may not have at this point. We still have no justice for Amanda Rabb. Dahlia is MIA again, heard from once, possibly, if we believe Jamie. And I mean, Jamie, love you, girl, but you've said some stuff before that kind of your perception and my perception of things are different. So could that have been a fake Dahlia on the phone? Absolutely. Could it have been convincing enough that it convinced both Bryn and Jamie? Possibly. Could it have been convincing enough that it only convinced Jamie and that both Bryn and Lima knew that that was not her? I don't know. I wasn't there. But Bridget did have some valid points about Jamie flip-flopping. And why would I forgive Jamie and not Bryn? I said, well, because Jamie's owned up to stuff. Brennan just blames everybody for everything. Brennan never takes ownership of anything, in my opinion. I mean, I would love to stand corrected on that. I would love to stand corrected on that. Yeah, I mean, I said to Bridget, I said, you've seen no police reports about this alleged abuse, and yet you're telling me that they have shared custody now, and that one of them or both of them wants to be back together with her. So it just sounds like a real volatile situation, in my opinion, because as far as I know, she's still with Mr. Bowles. So I don't know. But yeah, none of that. I mean, Brennan's support of Lima, which she has not retracted, like Jamie has, um, speaks volumes. And whether it was Jamie that initiated the contact with Lima or not, Lima's going to get anybody and everybody to write those declarations, or Lima's going to write those declarations on behalf of anybody and anybody and get them to sign it by any means necessary, in my opinion. It appears that way. So who knows? Maybe Bridget's next. Maybe Bridget will be signing a declaration for Lima. Some people were saying they thought Bridget might be Shannonography. I don't know. I mean, Shannonography came in my chat and was chatting as Shannonography. So I don't see why they'd then, a few days later be under a completely different account and using a different name, but whatever. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I said, I'm like, have you seen any documents? And did you ever see Brennan's response in this divorce? Because all she was showing people was his complaint against her. And the details in that complaint were pretty specific and pretty scary. So I never saw her side of anything. All right. Let's see. Wants to change the narrative from Dahlia to Brynn. Exactly. And that's what Brennan wanted. Brennan wanted BJ to change the narrative. Brennan wanted BJ to be like covering her divorce and stuff. I mean, it's just no. Brennan's chaotic, unstable family is an issue only Brennan can solve. The issue that's affecting millions of human beings of incarceration, psychiatric incarceration, of enslavement and trafficking using the probate courts, that's something that, does not affect Brennan, apparently. She's never claimed that it does. So, maybe this just wasn't the right community for her to be latching onto. And apparently, I'll talk more about this tomorrow. Apparently, the only reason Brennan even knew about BJ was because Miss Chronic Chronicles follows BJ, and BJ follows Miss Chronic Chronicles. And so, so as of January 2023, Brennan had no connection to that surprise witness whatsoever. All right. Okay. Jamie says, Brynn is not interested in Dahlia, and that's what makes me not interested in Brynn or her feelings, because this is a response to a focus on Dahlia. So if Brynn is not interested in Dahlia, Jamie, my response to that would be, well, why did she go to the apartment? Was it to get attention for herself? Because she sure got attention. I mean, even negative attention is attention, right? Okay. As free Dahlia, let Dahlia speak. Or as BJ is now saying, justice for Dahlia. That got me a little scared when I saw BJ putting justice for Dahlia. That made me think that maybe there's confirmation that Dahlia is in the same realm as Amanda Rabb at this point, but hopefully that's not. Hopefully that's not the case, but it phrasing it that way, because BJ's pretty intentional in the way she phrases things, Okay, Anonymous Clown, all smoke and mirrors, distractions, Jamie, and anybody else who focused on Dahlia would be soft blocked. I don't know what that means, Jamie. Anybody else who focused on Dahlia would be soft blocked? Oh, by Brynn, if people were focusing on Dahlia, Bryn would soft block them. I see what you're saying. No one cares about Kinky Clown. I'm not sure who that is, a Nano Clown or us, but okay. Check your email, Bonnie. Interesting stuff I found. Oh, okay, I will. To be a hero, I guess. Dahlia is not safe. That is my statement. Dahlia is not safe. Hey from another planet. Hello, everybody. Okay, yeah, and the other strange thing that happened before I go check my email for what Kaleidoscope sent is the other strange thing that happened is a couple things. I think this was so no videos are still up from Absurdity Dress Up, and I've emailed them and haven't heard back. And what's the other thing? Oh yeah, Anano posted a couple of new videos. One of them was saying that Mark's house sold, but I think I already talked about that this morning. Okay, yeah, y'all, I didn't sleep that well last night, so I don't know how long I'll be able to keep this up this morning. But let's see what my email has. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay. That is wild. I'm not even going to say that a nano clown. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say that Kaleidoscope. That is wild. Okay. Yeah. A lot of people are sort of investigating. Well, I don't know. A lot of people. A few people. A few people are investigating the. A few people are investigating the people behind hot snakes. Like I did my own investigation and I found that the couple that runs Hot Snakes, the couple that founded Hot Snakes, the husband went to the same school and almost exact same college program that I went to, worked at a place that I ended up working at a few years later. So that was news to me. And then the wife went to Tulane Law School, and I'm not sure when she was there, when she graduated. But I mean, when I saw all that, I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, all right, well, I really like that Natalia Grace series. So maybe it's just a case of the fact that I heard the word hot snakes and it just sounded really like slimy, slithery, you know? And I heard that they were doing this documentary about Lima, allegedly, at least at the beginning, without contacting BJ for comment. And I was just like, ooh, this is bad. These people are trying to spy on us. Like these people are trying to bust us up. But I mean, when I look through their pedigree, they have some very impressive, extremely impressive. I mean, put it this way. Like if I have almost the exact same education as the husband in that owns Hot Snakes, he's done a hell of a lot more with it than I ever did. So respect, like I'm interesting. I'm very interested to see what comes out of all this. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Yeah. Jamie, do you want to talk more about that? Were you saying the online user? Are you talking about a YouTuber? Are you talking about Clear Lightning? Oh, hey, Leslie. I don't know what happened to everybody's wrenches. I'm giving everybody back the wrenches this morning. Let's see. All right. There we go. Um so yeah. Um Jamie, when you said the online user, are you talking about Clear Lightning or something else? I'm doing well, Leslie. I hope you're doing well too. Um yeah, we're kind of just talking about this account that says their name is Bridget and says they just started being friends with Bryn back in December and, said that Brennan's life is going really well in their opinion, in their observation, and I was like, "Well, that's good. I'm happy for her. I don't want bad things to befall on anyone, especially somebody, you know, who's got little ones depending on them. I want them to be living their best life. I just don't understand why I guess I just don't understand why living Brennan's best life involves standing by Lima even after Jamie came clean and said that it was all a desperate from Jamie's perspective, it was just all a desperate attempt to confirm that Dahlia was okay, and now we're still not sure that she is. Gotta get ready to go to work. Bridget, yeah, she needs to want her life to be heading in the direction it's heading. She isn't a good person. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, didn't Brennan message Jamie saying her life was ruined? Now Bonnie the bully says Brennan's life is great. Well, yeah, I think what Brennan posted in the server, in the Discord server, and Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, I think what Brennan posted, I didn't see it, but Jamie read something to me just like in the just as Jamie was seeing it. I think Brennan said, I need a tutorial on how to get my life back. Okay. So I guess Brennan feels as though Jamie being friends with me is somehow depriving Brennan of her life. I don't know. Again, Brennan, you're welcome to come on here and tell us your side anytime. um, I'd pin a nano. Didn't Brennan? Okay. Is that what you meant, Jamie? Pinning a nano clown's message? Bryn follows anywhere the wind blows. She stands on one side, then she always gets in opposite direction. I have never understood her as in Bryn. Yeah, Leslie. And I'm going to go over that a little bit tomorrow when I talk about me, myself, and Miss Chronic Chronicles, because, that was when I connected with Miss Chronic Chronicles is when I realized, okay, this is more than a pattern. This is an MO. It's almost to the level of a script. The question is, how far back does it go? I know it goes back at least to 2022. Does it go back farther than that? I don't know. Bonnie must be looping? What does that mean? The surprise witness. Y'all can't see me? Why doesn't Brennan speak for herself? Always others do Brennan's bidding. Yeah, I love Miss Chronic as well, Leslie. I was replaying phrases with me. Okay, Jamie, that's fine. Yeah. Miss Chronic really is kind of, I don't think I would have really, I mean, I may have eventually crossed paths with Miss Chronic through BJ's chat because Miss Chronic is in there sometimes, but not all the time. But I think that's the one best part of everything I had to go through. I can only speak for myself. Everything I had to go through with Bryn, the one best part of it was that getting to know Miss Chronic Chronicles, getting to get interviewed a couple of times by Miss Chronic Chronicles. Now those podcasts are not up right now because of my own family dynamic, but hopefully they'll be back up at some point. So yeah, that was a really awesome thing. I would encourage anybody to reach out to Miss Chronic if you want to have like somebody really, like if you want to have somebody interview you to get like your real raw truth story out there. And you don't need to use your full name. You don't need to use your screen name you're known by. You don't need to show your face. You just need to like have a conversation with her. And it's like it was a really, really cool experience. All righty. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Oh, the stream was glitching? Okay. Yep, she does amazing interviews. That is true. Was my screen glitching for anybody besides Jamie? Okay. All right. Well, yeah, so like I said, anyone's free to call me, 617-446-3688. Anyone's free to email me, bamandalia@gmail.com. That's BAMANDAHLIA@gmail.com. I had to put a little bit more security on my Zoom because of that old Greg person that came in a few days ago. But yeah, I mean, I'm available. I'm open for conversations. I'm not filing claims to get anybody's content taken down. Even the same very people that are trying to get my content taken down, I'm not filing claims against them. Yeah. I snuck in the back door of that Zoom is the real reason. Yeah, you did sneak in the back door of that Zoom. But like if you could sneak in, then anybody else could sneak in, Jamie. So that's why I had to like reset it. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, the other time though, Jamie, remember the time when you said that somebody came in claiming to be, I think the account was going by Sippin' Sideways, and they said that they were Lewis, but it was really Bryn, Jamie. Remember that other time you said Bryn recorded everything? And we're supposed to just forget about that? Like that was really, really creepy, Jamie. I mean, that I thought it was Lewis was bad enough. Okay. Does Lewis even exist, or was the whole Lewis character just another extension of Bryn? I don't know. Never heard Lewis's voice. Never saw Lewis turn the camera on. Yeah. Yeah. So and then she recorded stuff before Jamie and I decided to start recording. So Brennan and then but I kicked that other person out. But they have like a recording of me and Jamie talking because they never talked. They recorded me and Jamie talking before we got ready to go record with a video that we put out there. I mean, that's just next level. So 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 these are all questions, Bridget, you can ask your bestie Bren. Why was Brennan recording me back in December when I was talking to Jamie? Really weird. Really weird, man. The other thing that so Brennan has even more fake accounts. Yes, many. Yeah. We need a list, like how Bridget made a list of Bonnie's accounts. But the thing with Brennan's is that the thing with mine is if people find mine and I'm like, oh yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Oops, nope, that's not me. But with Bryn, she denies everything. And anytime you even suggest that anyone other than Bryn Emerald is her, she like acts like it's the biggest joke in the world. Because she really wants us to think that she has all these supporters that not only blindly support everything she says and does, but use the same exact incorrect spelling of common words that she uses. Just saying. So yeah. Um I don't know how I keep getting everything like back to Bryn, but yeah. All a faux life, how any time how any time to care for kids, make it make sense. That's what I was saying to that's what I was saying to Bridget. I said, what you're describing to me is like if that's a result of getting called out in October and November, that by December she's like in the running for mom of the year, then that's a good thing. Like then it was almost all worth it. If it was a wake up call to her that she should worry less about YouTube and worry more about the human beings that she chose to bring into this world. So I'm happy. I mean, I probably needed a wake up call when I was in a similar situation about 15 years ago and I didn't get it. Or if I got it, I didn't heed it. And my life took a pretty dark turn 15 years ago. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate the 8 people watching, and I only see 2 thumbs up. Sometimes y'all see more thumbs up than I see. Um, it's 8:40. I mean, I don't have a hard stop time today. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, no, I'm good as long as people want to keep the conversation going. But I think we've kind of talked enough about this Bonnie the bully character. Yeah, they just got really reactive. I was trying to engage them in comments yesterday. I thought I was being neutral, but I don't know if it was me or one of y'all or something, but somebody set them off where they were just like, "You're disgusting. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore." I'm like, "All right, well, If you don't want anything to do with me, why don't you take down your I mean, I'm not telling you, I'm not asking you to take down the videos for my sake. But if I'm that upsetting to you, why dwell on me? I mean, this woman said she's married and has 2 teenage daughters. Like, one is an adult teenager, the other is a not quite adult teenager. She's been married for 24 years. I was like, "Wow." I said, "Wow, that's an accomplishment." I said, "That's huge." I said, "I've never been married a single time, not once, not for one day." I said, "24 years, you know, that's rare these days." I never asked where she lived, and I'm glad I never did because I don't have to worry about keeping that secret. Oh, you never asked where Bryn lived. Well, I mean, she was, like, giving that information out to people in the Discord server, so I never asked where she lived either, but that doesn't mean I didn't find out. I mean, I didn't search for where she lived. Somebody just said she was trying to get their address from them, and she sent them hers. And then Jenna, I think, and Pam were thinking I was doing that with the headbands. It's like, no, the headbands were an opt-in thing, okay? It wasn't like, "Hey, I'm gonna, um, I'm gonna send you this special thing that has nothing to do with what we're doing here." The headbands were the only officially sanctioned part of that whole Discord. The headbands were the only thing that we checked in with BJ and got the go ahead on before we started investing in them. Okay? That raffle that Brennan was trying to do, no, nope, never not once did BJ say please or thank you about that raffle. But BJ did gratefully acknowledge a couple of us that had invested in some craft supplies to be able to make the headbands that never even ended up getting sold for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Maybe she'll put them up on the website once Lima stops suing her bogusly and frivolously. It was mutual thing that I didn't have any interest timer for completing too many animals. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I know she had asked other people in the Discord to come live with her. Well, she had asked at least one other person, and then someone said that she had already also asked Jamie later, so you pretended you already moved to Texas, though? Jamie, you told Bryn that you moved to Texas? Maybe you are in Texas right now. I don't know. I don't know where Jamie is. I thought Jamie was on a shipping container to Egypt a few months ago. I don't know. Oh, but Jamie, I actually thought about this last night. Two things. Another piece of detail that Jamie shared with me last night was apparently Lima had this whole declaration of Jamie's written up by November 30th, even though it wasn't filed with the court for 2 whole months later. Isn't that interesting? Lima didn't waste any time getting this declaration from Jamie. And then the other thing is, Jamie, when you had that headset on, when you were recording that I Hope You Lose BJ video, was Brennan like talking in your ear as you were recording? Like, was she kind of reminding you things to say, like the thing about GoFundMe has a policy and things like that? Because you told me it was Brennan that told you that there was even a possibility of getting a refund from GoFundMe. That was the 30th. November 30th stream was when Lima called at the end, right? I don't know, Jamie. I don't have a timeline of all that. But I know that your I Hope You Lose BJ video came out on the 25th, because that was the same day you called in that was the save the date was Saturday, November 25th. And Brennan, Jamie also showed me that it was Brennan that went and found all this information on me and sent it to Jamie. Now, Bridget was also claiming that it was Jamie that had come up with that thumbnail. And I don't know. It really doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me who actually put the Google search in their phone or their computer. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that there was a coordinated effort across state and possibly across national lines to terrorize me from a group of people, only one of whom I had been friends with before that Discord. And by friends, I mean only one of whom I had been communicating with independently of the group, and that was Jamie. So, yeah, I mean, the only person I would have consented to giving my address to was Jamie in the first place. So the only person who could have reasonably had my address was Jamie. But Michelle, I certainly never, ever would have given Michelle any of my information. Apparently, Steph gave it all to Michelle. I certainly never, ever, ever, ever would have given Brennan any of my information. But Brennan was, whatever. Brennan snooping around all along. I'm not going to start calling Brennan Snoopy. I'm sick of saying the word Brennan. I'm just going to start calling her Snoopy. Is that okay? Oh, did Brennan tell you things to say? The declaration Lima wrote on the 30th of November was supposed to be for GoFundMe. Why is she sending it to Benjamin Kanani then? Benjamin Kanani doesn't have anything to do with your GoFundMe. Lima choosing to send it to her lawyer is her trying to get him to use it against BJ in court. That's nothing to do with getting your money back for GoFundMe, Jamie. She might have told you that, but that's not how she was behaving. Whose idea was it to demand a GoFundMe money back? Anonymous, that's a good question. Lima kept saying other people can file reports and wanted me to contact New Jersey to report BJ and said that would work. What? Lima's trying to tell you to contact what? Police in New Jersey? Oh my God. I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I don't know who's worse, Brennan. I'm sorry, Snoopy or Lima. Snoopy and the Bean. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. Snoopy and the Bean. Call her Creeper. So many things I didn't have the attention span to complete. Oh, God. Wow. That is crazy, Kaleidoscope. Wait, hang on. She even said she would guide me through it, but thank God I was too depressed to communicate at that time. Guide me through it. Like coercing her. So this is Lima saying she would guide you through reporting BJ to New Jersey police. I mean, oh my God, when is this woman going to be in jail? Like, that is so. Oh, God. Oh, it's not surprising. It's just, it's shocking that Jamie was able to stay undercover, embedded, and spying with these, in my opinion, criminal minds for as long as Jamie did and still come out and being her normal self. I mean, she's a little shooketh. Don't get me wrong. Jamie's shooketh. But she didn't let her soul get infected by this disease of Snoopy and the Bean. Duress. Absolute duress. And that is a legal term, Jamie. Undue influence, duress, coercion. And Lima knows all about that. We saw her coerce Bam. We saw her coerce Amanda. And God knows what's happening to her sisters. So, did she coerce Brynn and Jamie? Possibly. But only Jamie's, speaking out about it. Because you got to remember, Jamie's venture into communicating with Brynn, which led to the venture into communicating with Lima, that was because Nola Lola and I got some bright idea, like, hey, Jamie, go check on this with Brynn. And yeah. Jamie was on that undercover assignment from, I mean, I'm not taking any credit for it. In fact, I felt really guilty about it at the time. I felt really guilty. Like, why did we put Jamie up to that? I could have gone and talked to Brandon, like, just been like, look, sorry, not sorry. Like, nobody wants you here, But instead, I think it's because Jamie was so good at like recording things and getting, like keeping conversations going and everything. I'm just much more direct, But yeah, I mean, that lasted from like October 24th until what? A week ago, Jamie? A week ago is when you turned over your Discord crown to, who was it, MJ? Yeah, she was under duress. Because, Jamie, this is another thing. You started making all these donations like right in a row between just in the last week of October. You had made some big ones before, but you were kind of rapid firing these donations. Was that your idea? And was it your attempt to get BJ's attention? And was that in any way prompted by Brynn? Like, I don't want you to blame Brynn for stuff she didn't do, because there's plenty of stuff she did do that, she's not even accepting the blame for. So I don't want to add extra stuff on there if it's not true. But just the number of donations in that final week of the month of October seemed out of the blue. They weren't consistent like you had been prior. Oh, my whole chat history with her was comforting her for her loss. So meaning Lima's loss in court when BJ, on the court was on the 27th, I believe. Yeah, so it was like, I hope you lose, BJ came out on the 25th. That was a Saturday. 27th was the Monday after Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure that's when they had to be in court in Los Angeles. Turned over the crown and kept the evidence. MJ, Ms. all those people looking for their belly gem in BJ's SHIT back on October 24th after the Kuchar hearing. MJ talks a lot about Fulton County. That was in Fulton County. Just saying. Correlation, not causation. Coincidences happen. They just happen a hell of a lot more around this whole set of characters than in the rest of my 50-something years of coincidences. I made the donations toward the end of my reporting trafficking. Did Lima pay you? Good question, Kaleidoscope. Or give you the money? Yeah, I mean, these are really good questions, Kaleidoscope. I thought, okay, BJ added Dahlia as her cross-examination. Here is my only hope to save Dahlia. Aha. Okay. So what you were doing is you felt like giving money to BJ's legal defense was going to be sort of an indirect way of ensuring that the case continued through the court far enough that Dahlia would have to appear at some point. Okay. I can see your line of thinking there, Jamie. If you had talked with me about before that, I probably would have suggested a different strategy, but I can see where you weren't talking to me, so you were going with your gut. All right, let me see. That was my rapid donation that I don't regret. It was for the court where BJ added Dahlia to be present for the hearing. Lima never gave you money. BJ added Dahlia to make her speak. I donated and don't regret it. I just won't do that again. Yeah. Okay. I hear you, Jamie. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and just for the record, I just want to say that I don't do super chats on YouTube anymore for BJ or anyone else. I also have not made any donations to BJ's GoFundMe or any GoFundMes since I had to shut down my own GoFundMe earlier this year. But I do make small, very small donations direct to BJ using her Cash App. And as it turns out, I accept donations of any size on my Cash App. So if anybody wants to Cash App me, no pressure, send me an email and I'll reply with my Cash App if you really want to Cash App me. But that's not what this is about. This is about somebody who may or may not even have access to any money of their own. Like when we last saw Dahlia, they had taken away her access to the internet. She couldn't go outside for fresh air. She was, basically looked like she was painting 24/7, not allowed to leave the house. Having a YouTube channel and having to hire a lawyer to defend your words on your own YouTube channel is a pretty luxury problem to have compared to what we've seen Dahlia Takali having to deal with, compared to what we've seen Amanda Rabb having to deal with, even compared to what we've seen Bam Margera having to deal with. Because even look, all the money in the world would not have saved Bam from the situation that he found himself in with Lima. All the money in the world is never going to bring Britney's kids back to her. Time may bring it back. Strategy may bring it back. Some larger force of love and good in the universe may bring Brittany back to her kids, but it wasn't about the money in either Bam or Brittany's case. It was about taking away the one or two relationships that meant the most to them. In Brittany's case, it was her two sons. In Bam's case, it was his one son. It was leveraging that. And that's, that's the part of it I relate to far, far, far too closely. So yeah, I think I'm going to kind of wind down this stream, but I do just want to spend a couple of moments talking about this group that I joined a few weeks ago. There's a movie called Erasing Family, and I think it came out in like 2019 or 2020, maybe. And the filmmaker's name is Ginger Gentile or Gentile, Gentile. And she made this movie about parental alienation. And more recently, she has become a coach supporting parents in their journeys to try to reverse parental alienation that they've already experienced. So I'm part of this group that she has that meets every Tuesday evening. And then I've also done one-on-one session with her. And then there's a curriculum that you do online where, there's activities and goals you need to set and actions you need to take to try to restore your relationship with your children. So I'm vested in this, and I am invested in it. And for those of you who are still keeping track of my mother actually paid for this for me, which was very kind of her to do. I will add that if my mother hadn't done other things and refused to pay for other things years ago, the alienation would have never happened. And like I said, there's no getting those years back. So at this point, it's just damage mitigation. So my mother did pay for this coaching thing, which I appreciate. But my own mother, in my belief, my siblings may have a different memory of this, but in my belief, my own mother alienated me from my father, and my father in return tried to alienate me from my mother. And in the end, I couldn't stand either one of them. So if that's how one or both of my kids are feeling at this point about me and or their father, I'm not going to hold my breath on this, but as long as I do keep breathing, I will love my children just as stubbornly as any person can love another human being. And I won't give up hope. I will probably change my course of action as a result of the coaching that I'm receiving from these experts in reuniting children with alienated parents. And I know that there's no guarantees. Even if I do everything right from this point forward, it may or not be enough for either one or both of my kids to reunite with me. Okay, so I just want to make sure there's no questions in the chat. I had too much fun with the super chats. Oh my gosh. Jamie, what can we do for Dahlia? Good question, Anana Clown. Yeah, I won't lose hope. I won't lose hope. I just have to release expectations, you know. One of the last things my daughter said to me in our last conversation back in January was, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Well, I feel like expectations can be the thief of hope or the destruction of hope. And kind of tying this back to Dahlia, if Anana Clan had asked me, "Hey Bonnie, what can we do to help Dahlia?" I really want to know more about the man who is, I mean, all logic would indicate that he's not only Dahlia's father, but also Diadema, whatever the other twin goes by. And whether that man that like whether the biological father of the twins is the same as the biological father of Lima, and even if it's a different person, whether the abusive man that we've heard referenced by Lima and possibly by Dahlia, whether the abusive man is a biological relative or someone from a foster situation or someone like a subsequent partner of, all this. Like, I really feel as though parental alienation plays a role in a lot more people's lives than people even stop to think about, because there's something called the parental alienation project or something, or the alienated child project. I don't know. This guy was doing the coaching session last night. He was talking about it, and they go on to college campuses and they just start asking random people walking down to the campus about, questions. And they don't necessarily use the term parental alienation because sometimes people don't frame it in that terminology. But, like, yeah, like, they'll be like they'll say, like, "Is there anybody close to you that was sort of an adult figure in your life as a child that you lost contact with through the years?" And people will be like, "Oh, yeah, my mom. Like, I haven't seen my mom since I was 6 because my dad got remarried and we moved away, and then I was just told my mom didn't want me or whatever." Like, people just kinda, like, talk of it matter of fact because it happened so long ago. And it's just been so long that they've moved on with their lives, and obviously they're at college now. They're either working at a college or they're attending a college, and they're just probably just, it's just a trauma that they have filed away in the back, you know, way in the back of their hard drive. But then, in a split second, you can reunite with somebody, and you're never gonna get that time back. So, like, even if we could reconnect Dahlia with her father, she's never gonna have a different childhood. She's never gonna, erase she's never gonna achieve what she could have achieved these past 10 or so years since she's been, locked in this diagnosis or these multiple misdiagnoses that Lima is so fond of talking about. But maybe she can have a dude on her side that says, "Over my dead body, will you ever do to my daughter what she has just told me you've done?" She may have someone actually stand up for her, because it certainly wasn't gonna be either one of those cops. I mean, the male cop seemed at least a little bit less arrogant and tone deaf than the female cop, but, you know, that dude's got a whole city and I'm sure a family of his own to worry about, besides one girl on one call one night that he never probably anticipated would, go viral. So yeah, I would love to see Dahlia have a strong male figure in her life that's going to be a protector and not a profiteer and not an exploiter to Dahlia. I would love to see that for her. Okay. Yeah, you're good at that. You're really good at that, kaleidoscope. Yeah, I mean, Jamie, maybe you and Kaleidoscope could somehow collaborate on this ancestry stuff. Because I know you have a lot of theories about Linda Omar really being Haifa Abdullah or something like that, and that there was a subsequent marriage and some sons that this mom might have had. So yeah, I mean, I think that's really worth exploring because we still don't know what culture or mix of cultural backgrounds any of them really come from. We know Linda has a thick accent. We know it doesn't appear to be a Canadian accent. I mean, it could be like a French Canadian accent, maybe, but nah, I don't think so. It seems to be a Middle Eastern accent, I would say. So, can we get any information on their ancestry or culture? Because there must be some kind of extended family that would have some ability to reach them, unless the fleeing in the night from the abusive father was as cut and dry as they try to tell us it was, and that you know Linda had just stayed so far below the radar for all those years. And even if so, that doesn't mean it was right for Linda to be able to take cover like that and not give the girls a chance to know the other side of their family. Kaleidoscope wants to email you, Jamie. Right. Right. Dahlia alone will build the ancestry thing for me. But see, Dahlia might not even know her own ancestry. Dahlia may have been so um, misinformed. That was my that was my reply to my son when he left me that nasty message a couple months ago. I sent him an email and I said, for a certified brainiac, you are quite misinformed. Even the smartest person in the world can be misinformed. And if you're dealing with bad information, you're going to draw really wacky conclusions. Bits and pieces of her memory are more valuable than the lies of Lima. Yes. So I would love it if Dahlia had access to therapy where she could like really try to remember her childhood, not through Lima's lens or Linda's lens, but through her own lens. Like what kind of what kind of good and bad memories does Dahlia have from her childhood that led her to be so precocious that apparently, if we believe Lima, Dahlia and Dia both, as twins, finished a 4-year program in 2 years and were supporting themselves and living in a hotel in LA, you know, while Lima was still running wild doing whatever she was doing. That her younger sisters, both of them, were the perfect child, singular. Um, while Lima admittedly was sort of aimless. And then no sooner does Lima come follow her sisters to LA, then all of a sudden they got all these problems. Dahlia says things and it links straight to her, Bonnie. You need to explain that, Jamie, a little bit more, please. And as soon as you do, I think we'll actually wrap this up because we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes and Dahlia says things and it links straight to her, Bonnie. Again, who is her? I'm going to check my email. I think she is in New Haven, Connecticut right now, the end. You think Dahlia Takali is in New Haven, Connecticut right now? Is she going to Yale? The other Bulldogs? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was Worcester, Ohio, Jamie. I thought it was Worcester, Ohio. But if she's in New Haven, Connecticut, all right. Well, Kaleidoscope, why don't you and Adalia Dog get your notes together, and I'll be very eager to see what comes of that. You were wrong. Oh, it's not Ohio. It's actually Connecticut, New Haven. Okay. I think Hot Snakes has ties to Connecticut. Just coincidence, correlation, not causation. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that the couple that I'm talking about, the Evangelistas, that they live in somewhere in Connecticut, not too far from New York City. Okay, so Kaleidoscope will email you tomorrow, Jamie. All right, cool. Well, on that note, all roads lead to clowns. One of those roads leads to New Haven. Let's see what comes of that. All right, have a wonderful day, everybody, and see y'all tomorrow. Bye now.